Welcome back to Coding Content, where we take the chaos of code and turn it into something vaguely resembling structure. Today we're diving into a world that's as treacherous as a C++ memory leak. The top 5 mistakes every beginner programmer makes. Yep, we've all been there, standing on the precipice of code catastrophe, staring into the abyss of error messages. So, let's hold hands, take a deep breath, and jump into the pit of despair together, shall we? Mistake number 1. Ignoring the importance of comments. Comments. The love letters to your future self. Or, your team if you're one of those social coders. New programmers often think, my code's so clean it doesn't need comments. Fast forward a month, and you're gazing upon your own creation, wondering if it was written by a sleep-deprived raccoon. Comments are like breadcrumbs in the forest of code. They help you find your way back when you're lost. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Moving on to mistake number 2, overlooking error messages. Error messages are like the passive-aggressive notes left by your roommate. They're not just there to ruin your day, they're trying to tell you something. Beginners often panic at the sight of them, but they're actually your best friends. They're clues, little breadcrumbs leading you to the solution. So, next time you see an error message, don't just close it in shame. Read it, understand it, and let it guide you to enlightenment, or at least a working code. Mistake numero 3, trying to learn everything at once. We've all been there. Watching 10 different courses, reading 5 books, and subscribing to every coding podcast out there. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Programming is like eating an elephant. You've got to take it one bite at a time. Focus on one language, one concept, and one project at a time. Otherwise, you'll end up with a massive brain freeze and a burning desire to become a llama farmer. I mean, nothing against llamas, but there are easier ways to make a living. Mistake 4. Reinventing the wheel. Listen, I get it. As a beginner, you want to write everything from scratch, like you're the next Steve Jobs or something. But trust me, there's a reason libraries and frameworks exist. Use them. They're your friends, not your rivals. You wouldn't insist on building your own car when there's a perfectly good one sitting in the garage, would you? Unless you're into that sort of thing, in which case, good luck, and may the force be with your sanity. And finally, mistake number 5. Not asking for help. The classic lone wolf programmer. It's a romantic notion, but it's also a great way to spend a week banging your head against the keyboard. There's no shame in reaching out, whether it's to a mentor, a friend, or even that one guy on Stack Overflow who seems to know everything. Programming is a community, not a solitary confinement. So put your ego aside and ask for help. Remember, Google is your best friend, but sometimes human interaction can be surprisingly effective too. There you have it, folks, the top 5 mistakes every beginner programmer makes. Whether you're knee-deep in error messages or drowning in documentation, remember, it's all part of the journey. Embrace the chaos, cherish the madness, and keep pushing through. Because at the end of the day, every mistake you make is just a stepping stone to becoming a better programmer, or at least a slightly less confused one. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, keep coding, keep failing, and keep debugging.